Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at ChainLink since we have not talked about it in a long time. Last time that we discussed ChainLink, it was in Wyckoff accumulation and we were kind of looking for the bottom to come in anywhere in this area. We were talking about how when it crashed right here that this was potentially going to be the spring phase for it and that eventually it was going to be able to bounce out and continue up even higher. And we haven't really talked about it in almost a year. And until now, this low has been the bottom for it. It was Wyckoff accumulation and it was able to actually hold this low and get a bounce out. And Chainlink actually was able to retrace back to a 786 retrace level on the market cap. Even though it didn't get that high on the price chart, it was actually able to get to a 786 on the market cap. And I do think that Chainlink is going to continue going up higher if the cryptocurrency market and Bitcoin does continue marching up higher. And today we're going to be looking at Chainlink and comparing it to the previous bear market that it had. So I see a lot of similarities between what is happening right now with Chainlink and what happened right here when it was coming out of its bear market. So as we see right here, we had this Wyckoff accumulation. We came out, we did an ABC, we came back down to retest this level, and then we set one more higher high, which basically on the market cap took us to a 786. Even though on the chart, I think it only hit a 0.5 percent. So if we take a Fibonacci retracement level and we put it from the top, so here we can see that it just got to the 0.5, but on the market cap it actually exceeded the 786 retracement level. And this is very fascinating because if we actually go back to this bear market when Chainlink was coming out into its bull market, we could see a lot of similarities between the price on the market cap versus the bear market that it had in 2020. So basically, we have the same setup kind of happening. We had the last capitulation, which took us into the accumulation phase, which would be something like this area right here. So we had the last capitulation, we had the accumulation phase, and then we were able to bounce out. Then we bounced out, and then we came back down to retest this area as support. And that's what happened on the market cap with Chainlink. So we came back down to retest this area as support. It also happened on the price chart because they're correlated, but the market cap did actually exceed this area right here because Chainlink does have inflation. So it came back down to retest this area, and then once it retested it, it had one more higher high. On the price, it pushed it up to the 0.5, but on the market cap, it exceeded the 0.786 and actually went up a lot higher. So this is very similar to what Chainlink basically did in 2020. So after we had this rise, we came back down, flipped this area of support. We had this rise, we came back down, we flipped this area of support, and then it went all the way up, almost taking out its all-time high, but it wasn't able to do so. It did exceed the 786, just like it did right now on the market cap. So we see right here, Chainlink actually did exceed the 786, just like it did on the market cap right here, but then it ultimately came back down to retest this area again as support, which was the same area that held us up after we broke out of this area. So then Chainlink came back down in 2020, retested this area. Even though it took it out, it still was able to get a pretty decent bounce and then start climbing its way back up. So as of right now, on the market cap and on the price, we're holding this area. There could be a small possibility that we do come back down and take out this low, but I do think that if Bitcoin is going to hold and if the cryptocurrency market is going to hold, that this could have been potentially the bottom. But if we do come back down, I would assume that Chainlink would still continue going up and possibly follow the 2020 bull market. I'm not saying that it's going to do exactly what it did in 2020 because I don't think it's going to do this whole massive move. But I do think at least possibly we could get this move right here for Chainlink to come in. And the reason why I say so is because if we look at the market cap, if it does exceed, like if it does exceed this high and it starts pushing up into new all-time highs, I do think that there is a possibility that Chainlink does get to the top of the fibs because it is a very strong coin right now. Most of the coins in the market are not doing as well. They're usually like most of them are kind of like at this level, but Chainlink is one of the mid packs, is one of the stronger ones. I mean, like XRP and XLM are stronger, but compared to like 90% of the coins, most of the coins are at the bottom, but Chainlink is still holding up pretty well. So I do think there is a possibility that it does get to the top of the fibs. which would take it all the way up to about 88 billion. So from right here, if we get a measurement, it would be about an 800% return. So if we go back to the price chart and we do an 800% return from here, it would take it up to about, I would say, 135, $140. And this is a very common rejection area for a lot of coins. Most of the time when something is breaking out, it does get rejected above the 2.618. So I could see Chainlink on the price hitting these levels and getting rejected, while at the same time hitting the top of the fibs on the market cap. And also one of the reasons why I do think that Chainlink is kind of bottoming is because if we go back to the weekly on the price chart, we could see that the stock RSI is actually starting to flip to the upside. And the last time that we saw this was right here. So once the stock RSI bottomed out and it started going up, this was actually our bottom. And then we had this massive move from about $10 all the way up to about 31. And the time before that was actually our local bottom in the accumulation phase, where Chainlink hit about $4.90, about basically $5. And ever since that, when the stock RSI started to come up, that was actually our bottom, and we went all the way up from $5 all the way up to about $23. So Chainlink is looking very similar to this area right here, which was this previous bear market, and it's also looking good on the stock RSI, and the stock RSI is actually flipping to the upside. So that's very optimistic that Chainlink will possibly continue, and it's also holding these lows. So I do think that Chainlink is a good hold right now. It's not as cheap as it was in the bottom of the bear market. It's still $15, which is a 3x from the bottom that is set in the bear market. But I do think that overall, like, the strength of it and the risk to reward is very good. Still that you're not really buying it right here. You're still kind of buying it at the floor to some extent. And the potential of it going to 140, I could definitely see that. It's only less than a 10x from here, so it's not impossible in crypto. We see 10x's, 20x's, 30x's. So a 10x from here for Chainlink, which is a major coin. It has a lot of good fundamentals, and it's one of the strongest coins in the market. It's not impossible for Chainlink to 10x if Bitcoin was to set an all-time high, and for the altcoins to actually have their massive move, which we usually see that at the end of the cycle. So Bitcoin continues. I do expect that Chainlink could possibly be one of the winners in the market, and that's my reasoning why.